Welcome to Hidden Stories, where faith meets everyday life. Here, we tell inspiring Christian stories that touch the heart, strengthen the spirit, and remind you that God is always at work, even in our struggles. Stay tuned, be inspired, and let every story draw you closer to grace. Clara, you're honestly one of the most helpful people I've ever met. Every time I turn around, you're either helping a customer carry something, giving someone a listening ear, or lending money without even asking for it back. I've always wondered, don't you ever get tired of giving so much of yourself to people? Tired? Not really, Ella. You see, I just believe that kindness has a way of returning to you, even when it seems wasted. I know some people might take advantage of me, but I still choose to see the good in them. The world is already full of suspicion and deceit. If I can bring a little light through trust and compassion, then maybe I'm doing something right. You have such a beautiful heart, Clara. But sometimes I worry about you. I've seen how people talk, how they use your name when you're not there, yet you still help them. You trust people so easily, and I don't want that same open heart to be the very thing that breaks you one day. I understand your concern, Ella, I really do. But I'd rather have a heart that gets bruised from loving too much than one that hardens and forgets how to care. I know the world isn't kind, but if I stop trusting, if I stop believing in people, then who am I becoming? My faith teaches me to see beyond faults, to love, even when it's risky.
Good morning, ladies. I could hear your voices from down the street. Sounds like you're having another one of those life lessons discussions.
You could say that. I'm just telling Clara she trusts people too much for her own good.
Well, Ella isn't entirely wrong. Clara, you have a heart of gold, but you've got to remember that not everyone you meet is made of the same gold. Some will smile just to get close enough to use you. Trust is a beautiful thing, but if it's not guarded with wisdom, it can become a trap.
I understand, Michael. But I can't go through life suspecting everyone I meet. That would make me bitter. I know some people will take advantage of me, but maybe one day, my kindness will reach someone who truly needs it, someone who changes because of it. That's what keeps me going.
You have a rare way of thinking, Clara. Just promise me that when the world shows you its darker side, you won't lose that light completely.
I can't promise that I won't get hurt, Michael. But I can promise that no matter what happens, I'll always choose to see the good in people, even when it's hidden behind their flaws. I just hope the world doesn't test that heart of yours too hard, Clara. Even if it does, I'll still choose to trust. Because love without trust isn't love at all. Come in. The door isn't locked. Clara. I wasn't sure if I should come, but I didn't know who else to talk to. I'm in a bit of a situation, and I really need your help. What's wrong, Ella? You look worried. Talk to me, please. You know you can always tell me anything. It's just that I'm in urgent need of near 100,000. My mother's business partner suddenly demanded repayment of some money she borrowed a while ago. If she doesn't pay by tomorrow, she might lose her goods and everything she's been working for. I've tried everyone I could think of, but no one's willing to help. Clara, please, I promise I'll return it by next week. You know me, I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. Ella, you don't even need to explain that much. You've been a good friend to me, and if you're in need, then it's only right I help. I believe that friendship is tested most when there is something to lose. Don't worry, I trust you completely. I'll transfer the near 100,000 to you first thing in the morning. Clara, I don't even know what to say. You're truly one of a kind. Everyone else turned their backs on me, but you didn't even hesitate for a second. You've proven again that you're different. I'll never forget this, I promise. Next week, I'll pay you back exactly as I've said, not a day later. Please, don't make it sound like a debt between us. Just take it as a helping hand from a friend who believes in you. We rise by lifting others, Ella. I've always said that if God blesses me, then I must use that blessing to be a blessing to someone else. You've done the same for me before. Remember when you helped me pay for that supplier who almost cut me off? This is nothing compared to your kindness back then.
I hope I'm not interrupting something important.
Not at all, Michael. Ella was just telling me she's in a bit of a fix, so I offered to lend her Nara 100,000 to sort it out.
Clara, you really have a generous heart. But sometimes, generosity needs a bit of wisdom beside it. I don't mean any offense, Ella, but when it comes to money, especially among friends, things can easily get complicated. I just hope this won't cause any misunderstanding later.
Michael, I completely understand your concern, but please don't worry. Clara and I have been friends for years. I wouldn't do anything to betray that trust. This is just a temporary situation, 1 week and everything will be sorted.
I know you trust easily, Clara, and that's a beautiful thing. But please remember, not everyone values loyalty the way you do. Sometimes, good intentions can be misunderstood or even misused. I've seen people turn cold once money enters the picture.
Michael, I know you're just looking out for me, and I appreciate that. But trust has always been part of who I am. If I stop helping because I fear being hurt, then I've allowed fear to win. Ella is my friend, and I choose to believe in her word.
You really are something else, Clara. I just pray this world doesn't use your kindness against you.
Thank you again, Clara. I'll never forget this. God bless you, I mean that from my heart. Don't mention it, Ella. Go take care of your mother's issue. Everything will be fine.
You've sown a seed of trust again, Clara. I just hope this one doesn't fall on stony ground.
If my kindness ever becomes my weakness, then I'll still thank God that at least I gave from a sincere heart. Because no act of love is ever truly wasted. Ella. I'm so glad to see you. I've actually been meaning to call. You remember the Nara 100,000 I lent you 2 weeks ago? I really didn't want to bring it up like this, but things have been a little tight lately. I need to restock my shop, and one of my suppliers has been calling for payment. I thought maybe you could send the money today. Oh, Clara, I know, you must have been waiting. Please don't think I've forgotten. It's just that something unexpected came up. My mother had another issue with her business partner. This time, it was about transporting goods. We had to spend more than we planned, and it drained what I set aside for you. But I promise you, I'll sort it out soon. You know me, I wouldn't run away from my word. I understand, Ella. Life happens, and I know how unexpected things can come up. But I have to admit, I was counting on that money. I trusted your word completely, not because of the money itself, but because of the faith I have in our friendship. When I gave it to you, I didn't even think twice, because I believed in you. Clara, please don't sound like that. You're making it seem like I've done something wrong. I said I'll pay you back, and I will. Maybe not immediately, but as soon as I can. I just don't want you to think I'm ungrateful. You helped me when no one else did, and I'll always remember that. Ella, I'm not angry, and I'm not accusing you. It's just, you don't understand how much trust means to me. When I say yes to someone, I give not just money, I give a part of my confidence, my belief in them. When promises are broken, it's not just my pocket that feels empty. It's my heart. Clara, please, don't make this heavier than it is. I've told you I'll pay, and I will. I just need more time. Honestly, the more we talk about it, the worse I feel. Can't we just move past this for now? You were such a good person, Clara. Maybe too good for this world. And I know your heart is pure, but please don't let this one situation change that. I promise, I'll make it up to you soon. It's all right, Ella. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. Thank you, Clara. You're always understanding. I have to run now, but we'll talk later, okay? I'll sort everything out soon.
I saw Ella leaving. You spoke to her about the money, didn't you?
Yes. I did. She said she'd sort it soon. I want to believe her, Michael. I really do. But somehow, her words didn't sound as honest as they used to.
Clara, sometimes silence speaks louder than promises. You trusted her, and that's okay, but don't blame yourself for what she does with that trust. People can disappoint you, even when they love you.
Maybe I should learn to stop giving so easily. But if I do that, I won't be me anymore.
Don't stop giving, Clara. Just learn to see who truly values what you give. The world doesn't deserve your kindness less, it just needs you to guard it better.
I'll still believe in people, Michael. But maybe this time, I'll believe with my eyes open. Ella and Clara meets in church for practice. Clara. Hey. I wasn't sure if you'd even want to talk to me today. I know things have been a little awkward between us lately, and I've been meaning to call, but life's just been a mess. You're not still upset about the whole money situation, are you? You know I'd never intentionally betray you. Ella, upset? No, not really. Hurt, maybe. Disappointed, perhaps. But anger? No. I've learned that anger only poisons the heart of the one who carries it. I won't pretend that what happened didn't affect me, because it did. You were someone I believed in completely. When your words fell short of your promise, it left a wound I didn't expect. But I've had time to think, to pray, and to remind myself that people aren't perfect. I'm not perfect either. So, I choose to forgive. Not because it's easy, but because holding on to pain steals my peace. Clara, you've always been this way, so full of grace that it makes others feel small beside you. I didn't mean to hurt you, I swear. I just didn't know how to face you when I couldn't pay back as promised. Things spiraled faster than I thought they would. I kept telling myself I'd fix it before seeing you again, but weeks passed, and I realized I'd just made things worse by staying away. You could have just come to me, Ella. Honesty doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be sincere. I would have understood if you told me what was happening. I never helped you expecting anything in return. I helped because I trusted your word, and because I valued our friendship. When communication breaks, trust slowly fades, and that's what hurt the most. But still, I forgive you. You really don't know how much your forgiveness means to me. Honestly, I thought you'd hate me, that you'd tell everyone I took your money and disappeared. But you didn't. You stayed silent. That silence spoke louder than any accusation could. I promise, Clara, I'll make things right. I may not have it now, but I'll repay you, and even if I can't, I'll spend my life proving that I value what you did for me. Ella, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or pretending nothing happened. It means I'm releasing the pain so it no longer controls me. I forgive because God forgave me first, over and over again. But I've also learned something deeper this time: love must walk hand in hand with wisdom. Because forgiving doesn't always mean trusting again immediately. Sometimes it just means wishing someone well while still guarding your peace.
Forgiveness is godly, but wisdom keeps you safe. My daughters, Forgiveness cleanses the heart, but wisdom protects the healed heart from being wounded again. When you forgive, do it fully, but let discernment guide you. Some people need another chance. Others need prayer from a distance. It takes the Spirit of God to know the difference.
Thank you, Pastor. I think I understand that now. Forgiveness doesn't mean returning to the same place where I was hurt, it means freeing myself while learning from what broke me.
Exactly, my daughter. And remember, when God gives you a forgiving heart, He also expects you to guard it with wisdom. Grace is powerful, but grace isn't foolish.
Clara, I don't deserve your forgiveness, but thank you for giving it anyway. I promise, this time, I'll do better. I don't just want to be your friend again. I want to earn back the trust I broke. Ella, trust isn't rebuilt in words, it's rebuilt in time. But I'll give you that time, and I'll keep praying for you. Because no matter what happens, I'd rather live with an open heart than one closed by bitterness. Clara, please, I just need a little help. My rent is due today, and my boss hasn't paid me yet. If I don't pay, my landlord will throw me out. I promise I'll return it as soon as I get my salary. You've always been a blessing to people, please, don't turn me away. All right, Mary. You don't have to beg. If you need help, I'll do what I can. The little I have, I share because I know what it feels like to be desperate. Just make sure you take care of yourself. I'll trust that you'll keep your word.
Clara, I messed up. I forgot to submit the financial report, and now the manager's asking questions. Please, can you say you were helping me finish it? You're the only one he trusts to clean up a mess without complaining.
Tom, you know this isn't fair. I wasn't even part of that project. But I don't want you to get in trouble. All right, I'll cover for you, but promise me, next time, you'll take responsibility for your work.
You're a lifesaver, Clara. I owe you big time. I'll make it up to you.
Clara, I know it's late, but can you help me tomorrow? I need you to stand in for me at the charity event. I promised to volunteer, but something came up. You're always so dependable, everyone says you're an angel. Lydia, I already have plans tomorrow, but... Okay, I'll try. I don't like disappointing people. Clara's kindness became her weakness. Her yes was too easy, her trust too generous, her heart too open. She believed helping everyone was love, until she realized that not everyone saw her heart the same way she did. Some saw her compassion as opportunity, her patience as permission, her goodness as naivety. But deep inside, Clara never stopped believing that kindness mattered, even when it went unnoticed. Even when her heart ached in silence. She wasn't weak. She was simply a soul who chose light in a world that preferred shadows. Yet still, there comes a time when even the kindest hearts must learn, love without wisdom leads to exhaustion, and generosity without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Lord, teach me to love wisely, to help without losing myself, and to give without breaking my spirit.
Clara, this is not the first time something like this has happened. I've been watching closely, and it seems every time there's a mix-up or delay, your name somehow gets involved. I trusted you with this project, because I believed in your dedication and honesty. But now, I'm beginning to wonder if my trust has been misplaced.
Sir, I take full responsibility. It was an oversight, and I promise I'll make it right. Please don't lose faith in me. You know I give my best in everything I do here. I've worked hard to build your trust, and I can't bear to see it crumble over something like this. Just give me a chance to fix it, please.
Clara, sincerity doesn't fix mistakes, competence does. I value your commitment, but this company can't run on emotions. You need to be more careful about the people you cover for. Loyalty is admirable, but blind loyalty can destroy everything you've built. Take some time to get things in order. I'll expect a detailed report by tomorrow. If this happens again, I won't have a choice but to reconsider your position here.
Clara. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just thought it would blow over, and no one would notice. You know how the boss can be when he's angry. I panicked. Ella, I didn't speak up for you because I was weak. I did it because I believed friendship means standing with someone even when it hurts. But lately, it feels like I'm the only one standing. Every time I cover for you, I lose a little more of myself, my peace, my credibility, my joy. I didn't ask you to take the blame, Clara. You chose to. You always do. You make it seem like being the bigger person means letting everyone walk over you. Maybe you're right. Maybe I've confused love for foolishness. I thought helping people was what God wanted me to do, but now I see that even goodness needs boundaries. And in that moment, Clara's kindness no longer felt like a virtue. It felt like a burden she could no longer carry, a weight placed on her by those who mistook her compassion for weakness. Lord, I don't even know where to start. My heart feels so heavy tonight. I keep asking myself, why do people take me for granted? Why do they see my kindness as weakness? I never mean harm. I only try to do what's right, to show love the way you taught us to. But somehow, every time I open my heart, someone finds a way to wound it. I give, Lord. I give so much, my time, my strength, my heart, my resources, and yet, it feels like the more I give, the more I lose. It hurts so much to be misunderstood. Sometimes I wonder, am I being foolish, or am I just following what I believe is love? Maybe I'm too soft. Maybe I love too deeply, trust too quickly, and forgive too easily. But what else can I do, Lord? You said we should love our neighbors, show mercy, forgive 70 times 7. And that's what I've been trying to do. But it feels like my heart is breaking in the process. Sometimes I wish I could be tougher, not care so much, not feel so deeply. Maybe if I could close my heart a little, people wouldn't hurt me as often. But how do I do that without losing who I am? Because, deep down, I know you made me this way, soft, gentle, and kind. You gave me this heart, Lord. You gave me this nature to love, to help, to serve. So why does it feel like a punishment? Please, Father. If this is the path you want me to walk, then teach me how to walk it with wisdom. Teach me how to love without being used, how to help without losing myself, and how to forgive without becoming blind. I don't want to change into someone bitter, I just want to learn how to guard my heart without hardening it. Maybe one day, they'll understand that my kindness wasn't weakness. It was strength, the kind that came from you. But until then, help me to find peace, even when people don't see my heart the way you do. And in her quiet tears, Clara found what she had been missing, not answers, but surrender. Sometimes, peace doesn't come when people change. It comes when you let God heal the parts of you they broke.
Clara, I've watched you for a while now, your heart, your compassion, your willingness to help others, even when it costs you something. You have a beautiful spirit, my dear. But lately, I've noticed that your kindness has been hurting you more than helping others. Tell me, why do you keep giving so much of yourself to people who only take?
Pastor, I don't know anymore. I just can't stand to see anyone in need and walk away. It feels wrong to say no, especially when I know I can help. I keep thinking, what if it was me? What if I were the one who needed that help? But every time I trust someone or go out of my way for them, I end up feeling used or betrayed. I don't understand why it keeps happening. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too soft-hearted for this world.
No, Clara. You're not the problem. Your heart isn't the issue, it's your lack of boundaries. Love was never meant to be blind. Even Jesus, who loved perfectly, didn't entrust himself to everyone. Scripture says in John 2 verse 24 that he did not commit himself to them, because he knew all men. That means wisdom is not the enemy of love, it is love's protector.
So, you mean being careful isn't unkindness? Because sometimes I feel guilty when I say no. It feels like I'm being selfish or unchristian. I was taught to be generous, forgiving, and patient, so where does wisdom fit into that?
Clara, saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. God never called us to be doormats, He called us to be stewards. And that includes being stewards of our own hearts, our time, and our peace. When you give without discernment, you empty yourself for people who are not ready to value what you offer. Boundaries don't destroy love. They define it. They help you give in ways that honor God and preserve your peace. You see, Clara, love without boundaries becomes emotional slavery. And God doesn't want His children to live that way. Even the Good Samaritan didn't stay with the injured man forever. He helped, set things in order, and then went on his way. That's balance. That's wisdom.
So, it's not wrong to pull back sometimes? To protect my peace even if people don't understand?
Not wrong at all, my dear. Sometimes, protecting your peace is protecting your purpose. When your heart becomes weary from constant hurt, even your ability to love purely starts to fade. Boundaries keep your heart pure so that you can love wisely, not just emotionally. Remember this, boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They let the right people in and keep the wrong ones out. Love everyone, but trust selectively. Be kind, but not careless. Give, but don't lose yourself in the process.
Thank you, Pastor. I think I needed to hear that. I've been confusing silence for peace and people-pleasing for love. But now I see that true love doesn't drain, it uplifts.
Exactly. And as you begin to walk in that truth, you'll find that peace doesn't come from being needed, it comes from being led. Let the Holy Spirit teach you when to give and when to step back. That's how you'll keep your heart both open and protected.
And for the first time, Clara began to understand that love without wisdom leads to wounds, but love with discernment leads to growth. Boundaries were not her enemies. They were her guardians. Clara, I've been calling you for days. You barely reply to my messages, and now when I come around, you're either too busy or suddenly on your way somewhere. Tell me the truth, you're avoiding me, aren't you? Because ever since that incident at work, things have felt different between us. You've changed, Clara. You're not as open and warm as you used to be. Ella, I'm not avoiding you. I'm simply learning to breathe again, learning how to keep my peace without feeling guilty for it. For a long time, I thought friendship meant saying yes to everything, even when my heart was breaking inside. But lately, I've realized that sometimes, the only way to find yourself again is to step back from the noise and listen to what God is teaching your heart. So what does that mean? That I'm part of the noise. That you're done with me? Clara, I know I've made mistakes, I know I disappointed you, but I thought we were stronger than this. You of all people should understand that people fail sometimes. And I do understand that, Ella. I really do. I've forgiven you from the bottom of my heart. But forgiveness doesn't always mean returning to how things were. Sometimes it means creating space to heal, both for me and for the person I'm forgiving. I used to believe that loving people meant losing myself to keep them happy. But now I see that when you give too much of yourself away, you start to disappear, and that's not love. That's self-neglect. I'm not angry with you, Ella. I'm just learning not to lose myself while trying to please others. I've realized that when I constantly say yes to everyone, I end up saying no to myself, to my peace, my purpose, and sometimes even to God's voice. I need to learn balance, and that means setting boundaries, even with people I care about. So, this distance, it's not about punishing me. It's about you finding peace. Exactly. I'm not shutting you out, Ella. I'm just protecting the space God is using to heal me. I want to be able to love people without resentment, to help without feeling drained, and to forgive without being foolish. That's the season I'm in right now. You know, Clara, I never realized how much I took you for granted until you pulled away. You made it look so easy to be kind, but now I see that your kindness was costing you something I never understood. Maybe I was too selfish to notice. We all grow at different paces, Ella. Don't be too hard on yourself. I still care about you, I just can't keep carrying what doesn't belong to me. True friendship doesn't fade with distance. It deepens with understanding. And if our friendship is meant to last, this space won't destroy it, it'll refine it. I think I understand now. Maybe this is what growing up really means, learning that love sometimes needs space. I'm sorry, Clara. For the times I didn't value you the way I should. It's okay, Ella. We all learn through our mistakes. What matters is that we grow. I just want to walk wisely now, with love, but also with boundaries. And in that moment, distance became a teacher, not an enemy. Clara had finally learned that protecting her peace didn't mean closing her heart, it meant guarding it with wisdom. Clara, we've all been wondering, what happened to you lately? You used to be so approachable, so friendly, always helping and laughing with everyone. But now, it's like you've changed completely. Some of us even heard that you think you're better than the rest of us. That ever since you got close to the pastor and started preaching about boundaries and peace, you've become proud. Lydia, I'm really sorry you feel that way, but that's not true. I haven't changed to become proud. I've changed to become peaceful. There is a difference. For years, I was everyone's yes, the one who stayed late to fix others' mistakes, the one who lent money she couldn't afford to lose, the one who always took the blame just to keep the peace. But that kind of life broke me, Lydia. It drained my strength and made me lose myself. I didn't pull away to prove I'm better. I stepped back because I was tired of bleeding for people who never noticed I was hurting. Sometimes, the people who appear strong are the ones silently falling apart. I needed space to heal, not distance to boast. But you barely talk to anyone anymore. You keep to yourself, and when people ask for help, you always say you'll pray about it or think it through. That's not the Clara we used to know. You're right, that's not the old Clara. The old me said yes to everything, even when it meant saying no to God's peace. But the new me has learned that every open door isn't from God, and every request doesn't deserve a yes. I've learned to pause, to pray, and to listen before I give. That's not pride, that's wisdom.
So you're saying setting boundaries doesn't mean you've stopped caring, it means you've started caring differently?
Exactly, Thomas. True love isn't about losing yourself to please others. It's about helping in ways that build, not destroy. I still care. I still help. But now, I do it with purpose, not pressure. You see, There's a kind of peace that only comes when you stop living to be understood and start living to obey God's voice. That's the peace I'm learning, not pride, just peace. Lydia, I know change can be uncomfortable, especially when people around you aren't used to seeing it. But I want you to understand, I still love and respect everyone here. I just can't keep being everything to everyone. If that makes me seem distant, I hope time will show that it's not pride, it's preservation. Maybe I misjudged you, Clara. I just didn't understand what was going on. You've always been a helper, it's strange seeing you put yourself first for once. And that's okay, Lydia. Growth always looks strange at first, especially to those who knew you when you didn't know yourself. But I'd rather grow quietly than keep breaking loudly.
Clara, I thought I'd stop by and see how you're doing. It's been a rough few weeks for you, hasn't it? I heard some of the things being said at work, and I just wanted you to know, I'm proud of you. You're growing, Clara. You're becoming stronger, wiser, and more peaceful.
Thank you, Michael. Your words mean more than you know. But if I'm being honest, it still hurts. It hurts to see people twist my silence into pride and my peace into arrogance. It hurts to be misunderstood by people I once stood by, people I prayed for, helped, and trusted. Sometimes, I sit and ask myself if I'm doing something wrong, or if maybe I'm changing too fast for the people around me to understand. I didn't choose distance to create enemies. I chose it to protect my sanity. But somehow, that decision has made me the villain in people's stories. It's painful, Michael. I never wanted to hurt anyone, I just wanted to stop hurting myself.
Clara, what you're describing is something every growing soul experiences. Growth often feels like rejection at first, not because you've changed for the worse, but because people were comfortable with the version of you that served them, not the version that serves God's peace in you. The moment you start setting boundaries, the world begins to call it pride. But what they don't realize is that it takes courage to say, I love you, but I can't lose myself for you anymore. You see, people often misunderstand peace because they expect it to always look like agreement. But true peace isn't about agreeing with everyone, it's about agreeing with God, even when it means standing alone. The more you grow, the quieter your circle becomes. But that silence isn't loneliness, it's clarity. It's God removing the noise so you can finally hear His voice clearly.
It's strange, though. I used to find comfort in being surrounded by people, even if they didn't value me. Now, I find peace in being alone, but sometimes that peace feels empty. Like something's missing.
That's normal, Clara. What you're feeling isn't emptiness, it's space. God has cleared out what was draining you, and now He's preparing that space for what will grow you. It may feel lonely now, but soon, that quiet will make sense. You're not losing people, you're gaining peace, wisdom, and self-respect. That's not emptiness. That's transformation.
You make it sound so beautiful, Michael. But walking through it still hurts. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever find people who understand my heart, people who won't mistake my silence for pride or my boundaries for distance.
You will, Clara. The right people won't be intimidated by your peace, they'll be drawn to it. They won't take advantage of your kindness. They'll protect it. God has a way of replacing what you lost with something deeper, stronger, and purer. But before He brings those people, He wants you to find comfort in His companionship first. When your peace no longer depends on people, that's when you're truly free.
Thank you, Michael. You always know how to speak life when my heart feels heavy. I guess I'm still learning to accept that peace doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes, it comes through pain, the kind that teaches you who you really are.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it, Clara. You're not becoming proud, you're becoming whole. And wholeness always looks like pride to those still living in pieces. Don't let their misunderstanding make you doubt your progress. Keep walking, even when it's lonely. Growth does zero s and single quote t make noise. It produces fruit.
And as the night settled, Clara realized something profound. Sometimes, the most painful seasons are the ones that shape the strongest versions of ourselves. Growth is lonely, but it's never wasted. Lord, I've carried so much pain in my heart. Pain from the people I trusted, the ones I believed would stand by me the way I stood by them. I thought that if I just kept giving, kept loving, kept saying yes, then maybe they would see my heart and value me for who I truly am. But I realize now, Lord, that being kind doesn't mean I should lose myself in the process. I gave and gave, until I was empty. Until I began to feel like my goodness was a weakness instead of a virtue. And even though I tried to be strong, every betrayal, every lie, every silent disappointment, it all left scars I can't ignore anymore. Father, I don't want to carry this weight any longer. I release every name, every face, every moment that broke me. I release Ella. I release the coworkers who mocked me. I release those who misunderstood my silence and twisted my kindness. I refuse to keep reliving their actions in my mind. Heal me, Lord. Heal the parts of me that kept seeking validation through people who never saw my worth. Teach me that boundaries are not walls, they are gates of wisdom. And remind me that even you, Lord Jesus, chose your circle carefully. You loved the crowd, but you trusted the few. Help me learn that balance. Change me from the inside, Lord. Don't just heal the wounds, change the heart that let them in so easily. Give me discernment, not fear. Give me peace, not pride. And help me see that I don't have to stop loving people to start protecting myself. I release them. And I release me too. Because I deserve peace, the peace that only you can give. Thank you, Lord. From this moment, I am free.
Clara, I must say, this place feels different. Not just because it's new, but because you are new. There's a peace here, the kind that comes when someone stops trying to be everything to everyone, and finally starts becoming who they were meant to be. I made a few calls, and some of my friends are interested in your products. They said they've heard good things already. It's funny how once you start valuing yourself, the right people begin to notice that value too.
Michael, you don't know what this means to me. For so long, I kept giving myself away, time, energy, money, emotions, just to prove that I was kind, loyal, dependable. But all it ever did was drain me. I thought love meant saying yes to everyone, but I've learned that sometimes love also means saying no, especially when it costs your peace. When I decided to start this small business, I was terrified. Not because of failure, but because I was so used to depending on people who only took from me. I wasn't sure if I could trust anyone again. But then, God reminded me that not everyone is sent to hurt you, some people are sent to heal the hurt. And Michael, you've been one of those people.
You see, Clara, the difference this time isn't just the business, it's the mindset behind it. You're no longer giving from emptiness. You're giving from strength. You're no longer trying to be accepted, you already know you're enough. That's what makes this journey so beautiful to watch.
Yes. I finally understand that giving is beautiful only when it comes from a healthy place. I used to confuse being used with being useful. I thought that the more I sacrificed, the more valuable I became. But now I see, true kindness doesn't destroy you. It builds others while keeping you whole. I'm grateful, Michael. grateful for the lessons, even the painful ones. Because through them, I learned the difference between helping people who appreciate me and allowing myself to be drained by those who don't.
That's the heart of wisdom, Clara. You're still the same kind woman, but now your kindness has structure, your love has limits, and your heart has learned balance.
Yes. I finally see the difference between giving and being used. And this time, I choose to give, wisely, joyfully, and freely, but never at the expense of who I am. Ella. It's been a long time. You look tired. Are you all right? Clara, I didn't know where else to go. Everything fell apart, the business I started, the people I trusted, the friends I thought would stand by me. They all turned their backs when things got hard. I kept thinking about you. And how I treated you. I came to say I'm sorry, Clara. I really am. Sit down, Ella. Please. I know exactly how that feels, to be let down by the very people you believed in. I used to cry myself to sleep asking why people could take so much from me and still walk away without remorse. But I've learned that sometimes, God allows the pain not to destroy us, but to teach us discernment. You were always so good to me, Clara. I took advantage of that. I borrowed money I didn't return, I let you take the blame at work, and when you started setting boundaries, I told people you changed. I thought you were proud, but now I see, you were just healing. Ella, I won't lie. It hurt. It hurt deeply because I loved you like a sister. But I also understand now that hurt people hurt others. You were acting from a place of your own emptiness, just as I once acted from mine, giving and giving until I was dry. The truth is, we were both broken, just in different ways. You don't have to carry that guilt forever. I forgave you long ago, not because you asked for it, but because I needed peace. Holding on to bitterness would have kept me chained to the very pain I wanted to escape. Forgiveness wasn't for you alone, Ella. It was for me too. Clara, how do you do it? How do you stay so calm after everything I did? I keep replaying my mistakes in my head and wondering how I became so selfish. It wasn't easy. I cried, I prayed, I doubted myself. But I realized that true strength isn't in retaliation, it's in release. When I gave everything to God, the pain, the betrayal, the confusion, He replaced it with peace. And now, when I look back, I don't see enemies anymore. I see teachers. Every person who hurt me taught me something about boundaries, wisdom, and grace. I wish I had learned that sooner. I lost so much chasing validation and approval from people who only wanted what I could give. I see now how much I took you for granted. It's never too late to learn, Ella. God's grace doesn't run out just because we failed. What matters is that you've recognized it, and that's where healing begins. You may have lost things, but you haven't lost your chance to start over. Rest a little. You are safe here. I'm not angry with you. We may never go back to how things were, but we can move forward, wiser, stronger, and kinder. Thank you, Clara, for still having the heart that forgives. I've learned that forgiveness doesn't make me weak, Ella. It makes me free. Clara, I've been thinking about everything that happened. And I honestly don't even know how to face you. You have every reason to hate me, for lying, for betraying your trust, for taking advantage of your kindness. If the roles were reversed, I'm not sure I'd even want to see me again. I've been replaying those moments over and over, and I can't find any excuse that makes sense. I was selfish, blind, and foolishly proud. Ella, I won't pretend your actions didn't hurt. They did, deeply. For a long time, I couldn't understand how someone I trusted so much could treat me that way. There were days I questioned my own worth because of it. But hate? No. Hate doesn't heal anyone. It only binds the wounded to their pain. And I refuse to keep reliving the same hurt by holding on to bitterness. I forgave you long ago, not because you apologized, but because I needed peace to move forward. I realized that forgiveness isn't saying it didn't hurt. It's saying I won't let it control me anymore. Forgiveness was my way of handing the pain to God, and letting Him turn it into wisdom. You were stronger than I ever gave you credit for, Clara. I used to think kindness made a person naive or weak, but now I see it takes real strength to stay gentle in a world that keeps wounding you. You know, Ella, I used to mistake being needed for being valued. I thought that if I kept giving my time, my trust, my help, people would love me more. But life taught me that love built on convenience will always crumble when you stop serving someone's comfort. I learned that genuine love values you even when you have nothing to offer. So no, I don't hate you, Ella. But I've learned to love with clearer eyes. I've learned that boundaries aren't walls, they're bridges that teach others where respect begins. I've learned that saying no doesn't make me unkind, and saying yes all the time doesn't make me good. It's balance that keeps the heart pure. I wish I had your heart, Clara. You speak with such peace, as if life has already settled its accounts with you. I still carry so much regret. Don't carry regret forever, Ella. Let it become your teacher, not your jailer. Every wrong choice can birth wisdom if you let God work through it. I used to think the lesson was about not trusting people, but no, the real lesson was learning to trust wisely, not blindly. To discern hearts, not just words. I don't deserve your forgiveness, Clara. Neither did I deserve God's, yet He gave it freely. And if I've received mercy, how can I withhold it? But understand this, forgiveness doesn't mean we go back to what we were. It means we start anew, differently, carefully, and truthfully. I forgave you long ago, Ella, but I also learned. And because I learned, I can love again. This time, without losing myself. You know, Clara. For the longest time, I mistook your gentleness for weakness. I used to think you were too naive, too trusting, too open. But sitting here now, looking back at everything that happened, I realize I was the one who didn't understand strength. You were never weak, Clara. You were just pure. Your heart was unguarded, your intentions were honest, and you gave without keeping score. And people like me, people who didn't value that, saw it as something to take advantage of instead of something to protect. Thank you, Ella. Hearing that means more than you know. But you're right, I wasn't weak. I was just unwise. There is a difference between being pure-hearted and being unguarded. Back then, I didn't know the difference. I thought that being good meant saying yes to everyone, that love meant overlooking everything, and that forgiveness meant allowing people to repeat the same actions again and again. But now I know, purity without wisdom leads to pain. It's not enough to have a good heart. You must also have discernment to guide it. I used to wear my kindness like an open door. Anyone could walk in and take what they needed, even if it left me empty. I told myself that was love. But true love doesn't drain you, it balances giving and receiving. It creates safety for both hearts. I learned that even light has boundaries. It shines but never loses itself to the darkness around it. I think that's what God wanted me to understand all along. You've grown so much, Clara. You speak like someone who's been through the fire and came out refined. I wish I'd had this wisdom earlier in my life. Maybe I wouldn't have hurt so many people. Or myself. Don't be too hard on yourself, Ella. growth rarely happens in comfort. Sometimes, we need to fall apart to understand what wholeness really means. I didn't become wise overnight. I became wise because I was wounded, because I cried, because I kept forgiving even when I didn't understand why. Every tear became a teacher. Every disappointment became a lesson. And now, I can see clearly that my purity wasn't the problem, my lack of boundaries was. You see, God doesn't want us to stop being kind, He just wants us to be kind with clarity. He wants us to love, but not lose ourselves doing it. To forgive, but not become blind to patterns. To give, but also to keep enough strength to give again tomorrow. That's the balance I'm learning to live by now. You're right. It's not about changing who we are. It's about growing into who we were meant to be. I used to envy your peace, but now I understand, peace isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build through wisdom. Exactly. Wisdom guards peace, and peace sustains purity. I don't regret being the person who trusted, who loved freely, who believed in people. I just know now that my heart is a treasure, and not everyone should have access to it. You're not just wiser, Clara. You're free. Freedom comes when you stop letting pain define your heart, and let wisdom refine it instead. Clara. I can't believe you're actually helping me again. After everything I did, the lies, the betrayal, the rumors, I thought I had completely lost the right to ever ask anything from you again. You could have easily turned your back on me, and no one would have blamed you for it. Yet here you are, standing beside me, offering a second chance I don't even deserve. Why, Clara? Why would you help me again after all that's happened? Ella, I'm helping you because grace doesn't expire. When God restores, He often uses the same people who witness your breaking to also witness your rebuilding. But this time, I'm not helping out of guilt, pity, or blind trust. I'm helping because I've grown. I've prayed about this, and I'm at peace with it. But understand this clearly, I'm helping you as someone guided, not gullible. There is a difference between being led by compassion and being trapped by emotion. You've changed so much, Clara. The old you would have said yes immediately, without even thinking. But now, your kindness feels stronger. There is a firmness behind it. That's because I've learned that love without boundaries becomes self-destruction. I'm still the same Clara, I still believe in people, I still choose kindness, and I still forgive freely. But now, I do it with wisdom. Helping you doesn't mean I'm handing you everything again. It means I'm giving you tools, direction, and support while allowing you to carry responsibility for your own journey. Because true help doesn't create dependency, it inspires growth. I don't even know what to say. You're not just helping me restart a business. You're restoring my faith, in people, in forgiveness, even in God. You could have let bitterness close your heart, but instead, you've turned your pain into purpose. Ella, I used to think restoration meant going back to how things used to be. But now I understand that real restoration means starting over, differently, wisely, and with understanding. I can forgive you and still protect my peace. I can support you and still keep my boundaries. That's the beauty of healing, it doesn't erase wisdom. It deepens it. Here, this is for your new plans. Write down your ideas, your goals, and your lessons. Start small, stay consistent, and let God rebuild the rest. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, not even to me. Just allow grace to work through you the way it worked through me. Thank you, Clara. I don't just see you as a friend anymore, you're a reflection of what grace truly looks like when it's lived out. Grace isn't weakness, Ella. It's strength wrapped in gentleness. And this time, I'm not helping from emptiness, I'm helping from abundance. Because I'm guided, not gullible. Good afternoon, beautiful sisters. Standing here today feels like a full circle moment for me, because not long ago, I was the woman who trusted everyone, who believed that being kind meant saying yes to everything, and that forgiveness meant allowing people to walk all over me. I thought that in order to prove I was good-hearted, I had to be everyone's solution, everyone's helper, and everyone's answer. But I learned, painfully, that this is not what God called us to be. Trust is beautiful, yes. It's one of the purest gifts you can offer someone. But it must be earned, not demanded, not assumed, and not forced. For so long, I confused trust with naivete. I thought trusting others meant ignoring warning signs, silencing my discernment, and excusing consistent patterns of hurt just to keep peace. But real peace isn't built on silence. It's built on truth. And kindness. Oh, kindness is powerful. But it must also be wise. You see, kindness without wisdom turns into self-destruction. God never asked us to be blind in our love. He asked us to love with understanding, to give with boundaries, and to forgive without losing ourselves. That means it's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to step back and let God handle what you cannot. Because being kind doesn't mean being careless with your heart. There was a season in my life when I gave and gave until I had nothing left, not because God asked me to, but because I feared that if I didn't, I'd lose people's approval. I poured into others while neglecting my own soul. I tried to save those who didn't even want saving, believing that love alone could fix everything. But the truth is, you can't heal someone who enjoys being broken. You can't build others at the expense of tearing down yourself. But when I finally surrendered the need to please, when I allowed God to teach me the balance between compassion and caution, I discovered freedom. I realized that God never asked me to be everyone's solution. He only asked me to walk in truth and love, and to trust Him with what I can't control. That revelation changed everything. So today, I want to remind someone here, you are not weak for setting boundaries. You are not unkind for protecting your peace. And you are not selfish for choosing to heal. True kindness flows from a healthy heart, not a wounded one. True forgiveness releases others but also guards your spirit. And true trust? It's not about ignoring reality, it's about depending on God to show you who is safe to walk with and who is not. My dear sisters, never forget this: love people deeply, but wisely. Forgive fully, but don't return blindly. Let your heart be open, but let your spirit stay discerning. Because when you learn to walk in truth and love, not fear or guilt, that's when you truly live in freedom. Trust is beautiful, but it must be earned. Kindness should be wise, not blind. And above all, remember, God never asked us to be everyone's solution, only to walk in truth and love. Seasons had changed, and so had Clara. The woman who once cried herself to sleep, questioning why her kindness brought her pain, was no longer the same. She had not hardened her heart, but she had learned to guard it. Her gentleness was no longer a weakness, it became her strength, refined through the fire of wisdom. Once upon a time, Clara's yes came too easily. She thought love meant sacrifice without limit, giving without rest, trusting without proof. But now, she understood that true love, God's kind of love, has structure, and wisdom is its foundation. She learned that discernment is not suspicion, it is protection. And in learning that truth, she found something she had never known before: peace. Thank you so much. I've learned that doing what's right will always speak louder than trying to prove your worth. Every season teaches you something. Mine taught me that peace is more valuable than people's approval. I used to think strength was never saying no. But now I know strength is knowing when to say it, and still having love in your heart. Clara, how do you stay so peaceful after everything you've been through? Peace doesn't come from avoiding pain, it comes from learning through it. I used to fight every battle with emotions, but now I let God fight for me. The moment I stopped trying to control everything, I started to rest. That's where peace grows, in surrender, not in struggle. Dear Lord, thank you for teaching me balance, for helping me love without losing myself, and for turning my tears into understanding. I may not be perfect, but I'm no longer afraid to be me. Life has a way of shaping us through both trust and betrayal. Clara once believed that everyone's heart mirrored her own, open, honest, sincere. But life taught her otherwise. Yet even in the sting of betrayal, God was teaching her discernment. Every disappointment became a divine classroom, and every wound became a whisper from heaven saying, not everyone deserves full access to your heart. Being too trusting may wound you, yes, it might leave scars that only time and grace can heal. But even those wounds have purpose. Each scar carries a story, and each story carries a lesson. God doesn't waste pain. He transforms it. He turns the naive heart into a wise one, and the broken spirit into a discerning soul. Love people, yes, because love is the heartbeat of true faith. But let God teach you who to trust, because discernment is the safety of the loving heart. You can be kind without being naive. You can be gentle without being gullible. And you can walk in love without walking into harm. Wisdom doesn't cancel love, it completes it. In her journey, Clara discovered that guarding your heart isn't selfishness, it's stewardship. What flows from your heart determines the course of your life. And only when you protect what is pure within you can you continue to pour into others without running empty. And so, Clara walked on, not as the broken woman who once trusted blindly, but as the healed woman who now walks wisely. Her heart still open, her faith still strong, and her peace unshakable. Proverbs 4 verse 23 - above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Thank you for watching this story on Iden Stories. We hope it blessed and inspired you. Remember, kindness is beautiful, but wisdom keeps it safe. Please like, share, and subscribe for more faith-filled stories that touch the heart and lift the soul.